Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to all of you, especially to all my dear students. I hope you guys in need of help. Part 4, the schematic design. There are 3 major steps in design phase. The first one is a schematic design or diagram. Number 2, the preliminary design. And step number 3, the master plan design. A schematic design or diagram is the designer's first attempt at organizing the overall arrangement of the design on the paper. In schematic design or diagram, a freehand diagrammatic symbols are used to show the relationship of the spaces and design elements. The preliminary design is a process where the designers converts the loose freehand bubble diagram and diagrammatic symbols into general shapes and characters. There are 3 aspects to create in the preliminary design process. The first aspect is the design principle. The second aspect, form composition. And third, the spatial composition. A master plan design is a refinement or a modification of the preliminary design that is drawn more precisely and with greater detail. For example, in plant material, in preliminary design, you just need to draw the generalized masses, whereby in the master plan, you need to draw individual plants with masses. For pavement area, during the preliminary design, you just draw the general form and outline. And during the master plan, you need to detail out the pattern. A schematic design, also called as a functional diagram, is the first phase in the design process. In this step, an architect or a designer will talk with the client to determine the project requirements and goals. The schematic design or diagram will give a general view of the components and the scale of the project after detailed discussion with the clients. Schematic design often produces a rough drawing of a site plan, floor plans, elevation, and illustrative sketches. The result from the schematic design will be used for the further step in the preliminary design. A schematic design is a formulation of the preliminary concept. It can be considered as a written concept statement for the decision on characters, function, and the aesthetic. In schematic design, the diagrams such as a metric, a bubble diagram, block diagram can be used to indicate the relationships of spaces. In design phase, schematic and functional diagram, for example, the images at the left. A complete schematic or a functional diagram is when the entire site area is covered with a bubble and other graphic symbols representing all the necessary spaces and elements of the design, whereby at the right, the blank areas or the holes in the layout indicates that you as a designer has not made a decision about the use of a particular area of the site. A schematic or a functional diagram is also used to address the internal organization of each space area and planting area. For example, the images showing you the spaces can be subdivided into more specific functions. A schematic or functional diagram is used to address the internal organization of each space area and planting area. The planting areas can be subdivided into more specific plant types. For example, the terrace, the tall shrubs, medium shrubs, the low shrub, ground covers, and also flowers. All will be labeled in the diagram. A schematic or functional diagram is used to show the circulation. The circulation diagram 1 is to show the entry and exit points. Circulation diagram number 2 is to show the alternative ways for circulation to move through space. The circulation diagram number 3 shows the graphic examples of primary circulation at the left and the secondary circulation at the right. A schematic or functional diagram is used to show the view. In this slide, show 4 different graphic examples of concentrated views. A schematic or functional diagram is used to show the focal point. Diagram 1 shows the graphic example of focal points. Diagram 2 shows the graphic example of block views. And finally, a schematic or functional diagram is used to show the elevation change. Elevation change can be shown with spot grids. Elevation change also can be shown with lines to indicate general step location. Thank you for watching my video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next time.